Final race weekend of the BMW IBSF Women's Skeleton and Bobsleigh World Cup season, and we're at Königssee in Bavaria as the women's bob has 2 more runs left in the season. Martin Haven and John Morgan at the oldest track in the business, the oldest artificial ice track on the planet. This Königssee track, though, John, is still so tricky to master, so many difficult elements for the athletes to think about.
Well, the skeleton competition just on a couple hours ago, women's skeleton, there was tremendous challenges on this track below the Königssee. Up here, steep start. This is Myers, Taylor, and Cheryl Garrett own the track record here. And don't know if that's going to fall tonight. Don't know if it's cold enough, but into this first curve, this little bump, we'll watch this. Little challenge there. I'll explain that in the broadcast. Now they go into this 4S curves, 4 straight. Schellengrubel, I mean, it's legendary, these 4 curves on this track. And then just shoot into a long straightaway. It's not straight, it's a bend away. It curves around. Sleds are going to hit at least twice, some hit 3 times, just like that. And now into this turbodrome, which is a big Kreisel. And you exit into the most difficult, tight 3-quarter combination, the labyrinth that exists on any track, and then into a sharp left, a lot of 80-mile-an-hour speeds down here, and into the Echo Wand. And here you exit uphill, you think the run's over? Not. You got a couple more curves, a lot of steep uphill section. You finish right here, so you can throw away a lot of time on the bottom part of this short track. This track is short, and boy, is it challenging on the exit of the Kreisel.
This is our second race here this season. The track records were set in January last year, at the end of last year's season, by Lana Myers-Taylor and Cheryl Garrett. Our World Cup point standings, it's Olympic champion Kaylee Humphries who leads them after a little bit of an entertaining season where she swapped results with Jamie Grubel-Poser for the first half of the year. Lana Myers-Taylor has only done about half the season, which is why the former world champion is a little further down the point standings than we would expect to see her, but she is back, she is healthy, and there is Kaylee Humphries. Humphries off silver medal in the World Championships last weekend. Jamie Grubel-Poser is here with Lauren Gibbs behind her again for the second competition in a row. First time they slid together was the Worlds last week. And there is your new world champion. And John, what about Anja Schneider-Heinz? So she won as a brakewoman with Sandra Kyriasis. She was a world champion, an Olympic champion. Now she's won that world title as a driver. That just must make such a difference to her.
Well, it probably caps her career. There's rumors here that this will be her last race. Not what the Germans want to hear, but could be.
It could be. She might go on to Pyeongchang. I guess that might be a decision she'll make over the course of the summer. She'll go off 3rd, top 10 in the World Cup, into a random draw. Elfa Wilhelmsen drew 1. Mariama Yamanka of Germany goes off 2. From 11th on down, you go in your points standings. So Maria Constantin, Misha McNeil, Katrin Beil of Austria, and so on down the order. We have 14 sleds in our field. So the final Women's Bobsleigh World Cup competition of the season gets underway here at Königssee in Bavaria. And first sleds on the ice are from the Belgians, Elfie Wilhelmsen and Sophie Verkrijzen. 30-year-old driver Elfie finished 9th in the World Cup, in a World Championship rather, last weekend.
These girls have been sick. They went home after the World Championships. The whole Belgian team came back with flu. Elfie didn't even train yesterday, last day of training.
There you go. Shouldn't go home to Belgium. And you wouldn't have come back with flu.
She got second in this event here in December. Why? Because, you know, she does not have a great start time, but she knows how to drive. See that bump there in the first curve? There's little issues there. We'll see that. A few other sleds have a big bump there, but she knows how to drive the bottom part of this track. That's what her forte is. And she's the first one down, needs to take advantage of this fresh ice.
Good view from the G-forces of
4 times she hit.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of hitting. How much G's going through 3 different pressures. Watch it rise and fall up to 3 and 4 G's, and then down through this lower labyrinth.
She's as good as anybody down through there. She's the queen of speed on the bottom part of almost every track she's on, and you keep your eyes on the speeds.
A lot easier to control these bobsleds, so you can be more precise with them on this track, and that's really an important part of it, because this track is old. It was built in, designed in 1965, 6, 7, and construction finished in 69. And bobsleds back then were very, very different from the rocket ships they are now.
They wanted to make it 1,200 meters. The FIB team made it 1,300 meters. And the start in Königssee, it's steep. You see athletes getting in a little quicker. And, you know, Sophie Verkusen, she knows how to get in the back of the sled with that aerodynamic pose. But watch the back end of the sleds here. This is tricky.
Just a little later than she would like. Gets that bump on the final element there before the Z curve.
Well off the track record, 8/10 off the track record.
Well, we didn't get close in the skeleton race.
We got one in 900s, 700s last heat.
True enough. It's quite warm as well, so who knows? It might slick up a little. Well, next, Mariami Yamanka, this rookie this season, just 25 years old. And she missed the first couple of races of the season. She hadn't raced on enough different tracks to qualify for World Cup. Behind her, Francisca Bertels, who started in 2007. When
She's a veteran.
Yeah, Mariam was still at school.
Well, this has been a very impressive season for this young athlete who'd never been out of the country. And she went to North America. Everybody was worried about her in Lake Placid. No problem. Park City, no problem. Whistler, no problem. In fact, she finished 5th in Whistler. So she's had a great season as a rookie on the tour.
Born in Berlin, lives in Oberhof, the German track that we don't race on. Half the races.
She's hit twice, 3 times.
There you go. Half the races this season have been on German tracks, or will have been by the end of this one.
Originally, this event was supposed to be in La Plagne, France. And this is what she's not going to catch the queen of speed, Elfie Williamson, on this track on the bottom. But you know, give her some time.
She got at the bottom, nice run down through the final couple of corners, out of the Zeal curve to the line, and she'll be a couple of tenths back, 2700s back.
But he doesn't like that at all, Christoph Langen. He demands excellence even from rookies.
How can you tell? Listen, you might be a rookie in the World Cup, but by the time you get to World Cup in the German team, you are well rehearsed. There's been a lot of very good sliders that we've never even seen in World Cup duty for Germany.
Okay, a little touch here, the bend away. That's a great picture. You can see that's not a straightaway, it's a bend away. 3 hits. Elfie Williamson at 4. Now let's watch. The secret is the back end of the sled. Does it get airborne here, or is it smooth as it transitions through this, the doodles, as with the skeleton athletes call it? That's great transition. Not as good as Williamson in the speed department, though.
So Mariami Yamanka second, Elfie Williamson leading after the first couple of sleds. Now our new world champion, 37-year-old Anja Schneider-Heinze, with 20-year-old brakewoman Annika Tracek. Schneider-Heinze also from Erfurt, and Tracek from BSE Winterberg.
Okay, the start record here, 5:13. I don't know if we'll see that.
Little weave away, 16, not bad. You know what, we might.
Oh, very smooth entry. Now, I was told by a lot of Myers up there that curve 1 is all sloped to the left. The straightaway pushes everybody to the right.
Yesterday in training, they were bumping all over the place.
Schneider-Heinze was perfect, though. That X, look at this, 4100s.
I think
1 hit, 2 hits, 3, 2 hard hits. So she had 4 hits like Williamson. She's got a huge lead here.
Variation between the first and the second pressure.
Smooth, perfect.
That's what you want to see, a little bumpy.
But she's got from 4100s down to 29.
Yeah, that was in the Kreisel and down in that labyrinth.
Boy, doesn't have the speed Williamson had, down to 19.
Down to single
this
digits.
Could be single digits. This is why Williamson got a silver medal here last time out. 11.
Whoa, 1100s, 59.8.
Boy, but Williamson got beat by 20. By 2700s at the start, only by 11 at the bottom. That tells you how much talent she's got with driving a sled. And here, last week in Innsbruck, it was about a start time. Here in Königssee, it's about a drive time. Well, the start, this is the best starting team in the world last week in Innsbruck. And that's why they walked away with the World Championship title. But there was a little bit of a skid there that our team picked up.
A little variation.
But you know, then she got into that first curve good. That first curve's going to really show a lot, especially in the 4-man race.
Unless they worked on it last night, because the men's training and women's training yesterday, they were really bumping in turn 1. It threw them way offline. Nobody got through, not even the Germans. Christina Hengst of Austria is next up, the 30-year-old from Axams, former hammer thrower. Bronze medalist in the Team World Championships, and she rolled her sled in the first heat of the Women's Worlds on her home track 2 weeks ago. I mean, that was a shock to her, but wow, it left everybody in the place.
The venue went quiet. 1,500s behind, that's about normal. That wasn't a bad bump into that first curve. But this is a fourth place finisher in the December event here. And, you know, it's very competent pilot, but we don't know what happened. I'm sure she's still trying to figure out what happened, but this isn't good here. 5 hits.
4 podium finishes already this season in 7 races in the World Cup.
She's second at the moment, but she's going to need to be perfect here.
Oh, here we go. Look at that.
Look at this. This is great.
That's as good
going
as the
down
German
1400s. She could catch her on the bottom here.
These BTC sleds do find
They're
speed.
flying down to 8. She's going to get it down close.
Losing speed. Look at the accelerometer at the bottom. See how much it slows you down in those final
200s.
corners.
The coach has got to love that.
Fantastic.
Now that's the Christina Hengst they expected to show. But this is a driver's track. This shows you Schneider-Heinz with the best start won the World Championships.
Look at the smile on her face when she sees the time at the bottom. That's fantastic. She's looking up.
She got beat by 6.
3100s at the 1500s at the start rather, and 200s down at the bottom. Yeah.
And this wasn't perfect here. Schneider-Heinz was much better here. Look at the skid. This was not good. But boy, these
5.
Exeter Kreisel is where she made her money.
The smile is back for Christina Hengst and Sanne Dekker, her brakewoman. So game on, we have a race on our hands. Here is our second sled from Belgium. These are the mini Belgian bullets. Anne van Nieuwenhausen, the 24-year-old former brakewoman, and her 21-year-old brakewoman, Loes Hubrecht, a pole vaulter. She's only a few weeks away from going back to pole vault, I guess, for the summer.
And crashed in training.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about mental toughness. This young Belgian pilot here has impressed me all year. Crashed twice in training in Whistler, ended up finishing 4th. Second team of the Belgian Bullets is off and running. And watch this slope into the curve 1. They're saying the ice is sloping everything to the right. Yeah. So you come down, not the left wall, you're coming down the right side, crossing over. And Alana Myers told me it's caused her a lot of problems in training.
Well, looks like they have worked on that overnight because it is far less dramatic than it was yesterday.
How quiet, just 2 hits here.
There we go. So Anne van Nieuwenhausen, 3200s behind at the start. Let's see how close she can get. She was 49.
She's on the wrong side of the exit. Watch out.
Bumpy.
Yeah, she came down the middle part, but she needed to be on the first part of the labyrinth.
It's just a little late, and they're fringing the wall.
Still a pretty good time.
Well, she was looking to close up, but she hasn't been able to.
Look at her duck her head and disappear at the finish. That's cool. Only 40 behind.
Well,
she got beat by the Jamaica by 1100s at the start. She's only 200s behind her.
And if she hadn't ducked ahead, she'd be 400s behind her. That's why you do it, because we've got 200s first to second, or 400s first to second. We've got 200s between 4th and 5th. That's why she ducks her head out of the air. What difference can it make? It makes a difference.
Well, here she's come down the wrong side, and then watch this cause her late. And watch the sled go airborne. Hello.
Zigging when she should be zagging.
Zagging.
Yeah, all 4 runners off the ice there.
Yeah.
Now, they would have felt that, but they won't have known that it was quite as
oh, she knows.
Dynamic looking.
She knows what she did. She got through. That's where she crashed in training.
Next up is Alexandra Rodionova from Russia. Rodionova's done just 1 World Cup race this season. It was last time out in St. Moritz. Still only 22 from Bratsk. Started off in the Russian luge team. And she was a volleyballer behind that. She competed in the games in 2010 for Russia, finished 6th in the luge competition. And her teammate, her brakewoman, 19, 1 race in World Cup, 7 races in her life, including World Championships.
Look how fit she is. total sprinter. I asked Pierre Luders, where'd you get her? He said, well, just take a look at her. We got her right off the sprint track.
We kidnapped her.
They collared her, and she won't look like this next year. You'll see a lot of lower body strength in her next year.
So Roger on about. Now that's a good exit out of the fourth part of the S's. Oh, and then she just didn't steer away enough from that wall.
Commentator's jinx.
It was a good exit. She should have steered a little into turn 11, but she didn't.
This looks good. Oh, late there.
Yeah, but she's got it together. Look at that.
Bad, though. Wasn't bad.
Okay, so 6/10 back. She could cut this deficit to 4/10 at the line if she kept that speed on board and doesn't hit the wall. And again, she confounds me by it extending out.
7/10 back. 3/10 behind the Belgians, and Pierre Luders won't like that. You know, this luge athlete, she knows these tracks. And boy, there's a lot of successful luge athletes that come to bobsledding. Susie Erdmann.
In the lead, the world champion from Germany. In second position,
Kariasa started off in luge.
Yep.
Zubkov started off in luge, went on to win the 2 golds for Russia.
Lots of tracks, they start kids, you know, in single digits on age on luge, so it's a good way of starting. It gives them a feel for the ice. It finds out quite quickly whether you've got a feel for the ice. You know, when you're a kid, you play soccer or hockey or whatever, you can tell quickly who can and who can't.
Oh, look at the high S's. Look at these things. You know what it's like riding through there. It's unbelievable.
That really is the washing machine section of the track. Next up is our world and Olympic champion, Kaylee Humphries. Silver medal in the Worlds last week in the women's bobsleigh.
Watch out if she gets a competitive start here with the other 2 athletes. So 5:25, 900's down. Well, there's so much challenge up here on the track that she'll get rid of that deficit quickly because she's the best driver in the field. You know, maybe Williamson doesn't have the start that the 2-time Olympic champion has.
She's our World Cup points leader.
She's only down 10.
Points.
She can eliminate that here by the time she gets the exit of Kreisel. Beautiful low line there.
The good exit here will put her right back in contention. Here we go.
She's the leader.
That is how to drive through the lower labyrinth.
And now she'll really just rocket away. Look at her lines here. It's perfect. Down to 10. So she is online to take the lead, and she does by a comfortable 1800ths of a second. And that's going to be hard to catch. I don't think the only person going to have a chance is Alana Myers-Taylor.
Yep.
She just knows how to drive. And she has, you know, the second best start time, but she was 900ths down to Schneiderheinz at the start.
Well, Melissa Lottholtz has done every race and pretty much every training session as well with Kaylee Humphries. It's been a long season.
Melissa has great entry technique into the sled.
And that time, Kaylee didn't actually get in cleanly, but here, look at this. Look
Watch
at the going away
Watch the
shot.
back end. Watch the back end here.
Runners
so
on
quick. Look at
the ice.
That's how to do it right there. The only athlete to come through there like that is Williamson.
Runners on the ice. That's the secret there. If you're flying, you've lost speed. Jamie Gruhl will pose of the USA with Lauren Gibbs behind her. I want to just say, send our thoughts to Sherelle Garrett, who had to go back home, miss the final race weekend of the season with a little bit of a family crisis. So thinking of her. Lauren Gibbs, Lauren Gibbs on the back with Jamie.
Couple Ivy League athletes here, Cornell and Brown. So they should also get in the 20s. Jamie's been in a little bit of slump last month of the season here. It's just things haven't clicked for her. Nice entry into 1. I think they might have fixed curve 1. I don't see as many issues there in the bobsleds as I saw in training yesterday.
Only missed out on the podium in 1 World Cup race. That was 4th place in St. Moritz, the last one before the World Championships. Now there you go, gets the skid, but uses it to steer away from the first big hit. Now this could put her right back in the frame. She was only 300s away at the start, 1200s down into the Kreisel.
Oh, hard there.
Yep.
She had problems and crashed out on this race last year in December.
Going to be top 3.
December, she finished 3rd here.
4th place on the split times behind Christina Hengster of Austria. Oh, a wicked snap off the final corner. 51.12. So 5th position ahead of Mariama Yamanka, but only 300s behind Elfie Willemsen.
1200s out of the medals.
Yep, that's achievable on this track. A little moments where the swing was off, the timing wasn't right. This is one down in the labyrinth, just a little late on.
But this here, I mean, the last 3 events, St. Moritz, then the Innsbruck World Championships, and here, it's not the same Jamie Grubel, in my opinion, that we saw earlier in the season. She's still 2nd World Cup points.
Yep.
Probably will stay there.
And her teammate, Alana Myers-Taylor, she was talking earlier this week about coming back to this track and getting safely through the labyrinth. A set of corners that took away a year of her career, she says. She's got Kerry Jones behind her.
Good. Here we go. Here we go.
Track and field star from Baylor.
Come on, ladies. Come on, let's go.
Bronze medalist in the World Championships a week ago.
But with Lauren Gibbs. She was lighting it up in practice. She's having problems with curve 1. Let's watch the sled come here in the curve 1. Wow, 5.18.
Big stuff.
There's that hit. See that? She didn't get through there clean. Everybody else came from the right side and went through there. She hit that bump. That bump is friction, energy.
Big height in S3. Good exit from S4. That's a really nice exit.
600 should have more than that with that start advantage.
There we go. Into the Kreisel. Nice exit here. Could keep her in the lead.
Late 5. It's going to be close. She's going to have to be straight in the Ecovard curve down here. Watch her. She's going to have to be right in the middle of the curve and straight here.
Good exit.
200s. It's going to be red here. It's going to be real close. Yeah, it's going to be 500s. Yeah, 300s. Great driving there in the bottom. Brian Schreiber, Richard Labenstein, the sled mechanic on the right, who's held these sleds together the whole season, both the 2 and the 4s. It's been a one-man band mechanic.
Great racing heritage on and off the ice. Richard has as an engineer and a technician. And Lana coming back to this track. This has been a big thing for her coming back here.
Kerry Jones, watch her get in, get down. Look how quick she's in there.
Yeah.
But watch the way, if they show us going into curve 1 here. Do we see this in the curve 1? Yeah, watch how hard she hits here. Watch the heavy change of direction. See, that is not the way to go in that curve. And she was telling me she was having problems there all week, and it showed it's still bothering her.
She needs to make the steer just a fraction earlier. She
got to go on the right-hand side.
Yeah, everybody else was a fraction more to the right. Stephanie Schneider and Lisa Marie Butvick. Stephanie who? You might well ask. Stephanie Schneider, you're going to hear a lot more of. 1 World Cup start in her life. She was 6th in St. Moritz. But this girl is going to have a big future.
Well, you have to mention she was just, what, 5th at the World Championships?
Yeah, and Junior World Championship gold medalist this year as well. She's got it all.
This is the whole, look how hard she hit that first curve.
Yeah, does it deflect her? No.
Well, she's already lost, but this, the betting man that I am, I bet on this girl really coming out next year and really doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just learning how to drive a sled.
Okay,
so we're
a little too much pressure on the S's.
Commentator Jinx.
John Morgan talks up Stephanie Schneider. that's definitely
continue to.
Oh dear. No, I mean there's no question. She is a big future for German bobsleigh.
Well, her World Championship performance last week, 4th.
Yeah.
You know, in her first World Championships, the starters track. She'll figure out how to drive these sleds. And Germans will. This is Christoph. You know, it's a work in progress.
Well, she's done 3 Junior Worlds, has never been out of the medal since 2010. And Lisa Marie Butvick's 21 years old, even younger than Stephanie Schneider, who's now all of 25. Former hammer thrower and shot putter. And that's an explosive start. Well, here, she brings the pressure off the corner and then gets, in fact, it wasn't late pressure. She just got tapped into a skid.
Try to steer away from trouble.
Yeah.
And you can't steer away from trouble. You got to just take the hit, move on.
The back bail got tapped out of line, and then she was in a world of hurt.
Then here's no getting on here too early, too. Look at that, the back end of the sled, but that's driver error. It's okay. Watch second heat, she probably come out, post the third or fourth best time.
Yep.
It's work in progress.
10 sleds down in our first heat of 2. Last BMW IBSF Women's Bobsled World Cup race of the season. Kaylee Humphries with the narrowest of leads over Lana Myers-Taylor. 11th of our starting sleds, Maria Constantin and Andrea Greco, Romania's 2 bobsled drivers back together in their new BTC sled. They rolled this out a couple of weeks ago in St.
The last 3 sleds have hit that curve 1 so hard compared to the first 6 or 7 sleds. We thought they'd fixed it. So there's definitely a way to drive in and out of that curve without hitting that pressure, that bump.
These girls won the Europa Cup last year, the second tier of sliding based around all the European tracks. And bronze medal in the Junior Worlds just 3 or 4 weeks ago. Now that's a good line as well.
She can drive.
She was telling me this sled feels so different from the FES German sled that they used in the beginning of the season. It feels like
it feels different than the stuff she was driving.
Feels like it's got more speed, but it just requires an entirely different timing, and that's the hard part.
Paul Niego in the middle there, the former Romanian driver that does everything. Coach, manager, chief bottle washer, and the fundraiser.
The other 2 girls were also brakewomen in the 4-woman sled that they raced for Romania in the World Championships last week. In fact, they've also been sliding with Maria's younger sister, Anne Constantine.
See if we see the red mark. There's the red mark. Boy, the skeleton athletes were up there hitting that red mark.
Tell you what, if you go up there in a bobsled, you ain't coming down.
You ain't coming down. Oh, you are coming down. You are coming down on the runners.
I'll rephrase that, yeah. It's not going to be pretty.
Those are great lines through the chicane. Maria, good job.
So Maria Constantin just behind Anne van Nieuwenhuis. And next up is Misha McNeil of Great Britain, 12th in the World Championships, with Alicia Kiddle behind her. Natalie Durat just managed to make it through the Worlds, and Alicia back on the sled here. Alicia, 23-year-old from Chelmsford in Essex. Favourite athlete, another Essex girl, Dame Kelly Holmes, the multiple Olympian and gold medal winner. Misha McNeil from County Durham. Youth Olympic Games 2012 at Eagles in Austria. She took the silver medal in the women's bobsled, which was then a 2-person event. Now they're with the monobobs in the boys and girls races in the Youth Olympics.
Start. Let's see her get into the first curve here. A lot less violent than the previous 3 sleds. Now the S's, where you can oversteer so much, you race so much time. Then the exit, not bad. She's going to hit at least 3 times here. 1, 2, 3, or she's going to get 4 out of it.
Not bad, look, they're all gentle tacks though. She was in 7th place at the start. She remains in 7th. Good exit here. Nice. That's a nice exit.
Back end, pretty good.
This might be the smoothest trip we've seen from Misha McNeil all season.
She's so low in the Cowan. She's the lowest sitting driver in the Cowan. Barely looks above that Cowan.
If she had a tall brakewoman, the head of the brakewoman will be higher
She's
than the
going to
head
be
of the
happy
driver.
with this.
7th place,
She's going to love
should
that.
be happy. That's a good-looking run.
So far for McNeil Kiddle from Great Britain.
Mike Bell and Chris William at the top of the track. That was a good-looking trip. That must have felt good in the backseat.
7th best start, 7th best finish.
Yeah.
Okay, das war
300s ahead of Germany's Mariama Yamanka.
Jetzt haben wir noch 2
She's got to like that result. She's been wallowing back in the 12th, 13th positions. She'll take a top 7.
Well, she was 9th here in December in the first race at Königssee. Katrin of Austria just double-checking the starter's handle, goes in and stays out. Started 3 years ago in this sport. Came in from hurdling. And Victoria Hahn, her brakewoman, same age, they're both 22. Born in Linz, lives in Vienna. Likes a bit of strudel, apparently.
Who does?
Likes a bit of schnitzel, too. Who doesn't?
great world championships. There's Manfred Mayer back on the left. We'll see his son in the two-man tomorrow. And coach, he does it all for Austria. The Austrians should be well congratulated for that. Whoa, look how hard that violent hit was and won. They did a fantastic job. Well, 2 weeks we spent in Innsbruck, spectacular. Everything from the races to the award ceremony down to the Golden Dome and Old Eagle, and now Old Innsbruck. It was great 2 weeks of bobsled tradition in Innsbruck.
Nice run down the bend away. This is a good-looking run from Katrin Bile, 9th at the start.
Ooh, watch out,
could be top 10.
Low coming out.
Look at the exit there, though. Wow, was anybody apart from Kaylee Humphries neater through there? She's losing a bit of speed.
Not fast, but you know, she's a rookie out here.
They may have given her a run of ground for control rather than for ultimate speed. She ducks ahead at the line as well. 13th spot, 500s behind Germany's Stephanie Schneider. Maybe not the ultimate fastest set of runners, but she's still learning fast, only 22. So she needs the experience more than she needs the speed.
And she's drank the Kool-Aid. She's got the bobsled bug. You can see the way she runs around the venue.
Ooh, catches a knee on the cow getting in.
She gets in a little late. And brakeman, good technique. The Austrians are well trained. Watch this hit. Watch this.
Yeah.
She's on the wrong side getting into that curve. You can't tell me that doesn't.
She hit the wall before she got to the curve.
Yeah, so she came across from the wrong angle. And so 5 out of the 13 slides we've seen have been have been very violent on the curve one.
Katrin Bile's dad works at the Eagles track, so he was part of the organising committee. Next up is our 14th sled, Nadezhda Sergeyeva with Yulia Egoshenko behind her. Sergeyeva came in as a brakewoman 2010, started driving 2013. And Yulia, the other Yulia brakewoman, Egoshenko, started in November. She has had 4 races in her bobsled life, including the World Championships. 4 races. She's done 3 Europa Cup races and then the Worlds. So they clearly think that she has got potential. She just fell in there like there's a hole in the bottom of the sled and she'd step through it.
15th in her first event in St. Moritz. Nice entry into curve 1. 11th last week at the World Championships.
So give her only 3 years of driving.
Nice. Real nice. That's not though.
That's good.
Did I jinx her again?
Didn't panic. Didn't see her steer there. She waited for it to straighten itself out.
See if she gets out of here with the clean exit.
There you go. Straight down the middle.
She's been impressive.
That might almost be as clean as Kaylee Humphries. I'm not sure she's got the speed that Humphries had on hand, but 8th place. That'll be a good run from Nadezhda Sergeyeva.
Might be the best heat of her.
9 to the line. That's a really good run. Only 400s behind Misha McNeil.
She'll take that.
100s behind Mariama Yamanka. 100 in front of Anne van Nieuwenhuizen. This is a close battle. From McNeil in 7th down to Constantin in 11th. That's 6 sleds with a 1/10 of a second covering them.
It's a good run.
Yeah.
Driver.
Smooth as you like below the Kreisel. That was an excellent lower labyrinth.
Here she just taps, and you got to take your medicine. Don't try and steer away from it. Hit, go straight.
Yeah.
Just tap over here, go straight. You know, that's part of the coming down there. She'll take that.
And there is her 19-year-old brakewoman, 23-year-old brakewoman rather, Yulia Egoshenko. So our first heat is led by our double Olympic champion, Kaylee Humphries, with Melissa Lottholtz behind her. They have had 4 wins out of 7 World Cup races this season. Will they make it number 5 to seal the Crystal Globe and another season title? She has a slender lead, 300ths of a second. North American sleds 1-2 ahead of the world champion. This is the way that they lie after the first of the 2 heats. Schneider-Heinze under threat for the bronze medal, definitely from Christina Hengster. Can Schneidi overhaul the Canadian and the American? That would seem unlikely, but on this track, nothing is impossible. The lower labyrinth has been brutal to everybody during the course of the day. Everybody is safely down. Join us for our second and deciding heat for the final World Cup race of the season. We'll be back with the sleds on ice at 17:30 here in Berchtesgaden. That is 16:30 Greenwich Mean Time. Join John Morgan, the IBSF TV crew, and me, Martin Haven. Until then, enjoy yourselves. We'll be back.